Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone enjoyed lunch and are now ready to get on with the main event. Today we showcase the growth, the size, the vitality of the publishing industry, professional and scholarly publishing. This year's PROSE judges had their work cut out for them. We had, as I mentioned before, more entries, better entries, more diverse entries than we've ever had. And I had no idea till I came to these awards programs exactly how exceptional the work is that's done in our industry. You could get a clear sense of that walking into the judges' room, which by now had the autobiography of Mark Twain replaced with a FedEx copy we were able to get from the publisher because we certainly couldn't find them in any bookstores. So overwhelming. Innovation, thoughtfulness, creativity, we continue to do that, and in this digital or die culture that we are digital, but we are still very much ink on paper. We're in all forms. Today, we'd like to show you just what an array we have of entries for this year's program. So, James, take it away. The PROSE Awards annually honors the very best in professional and scholarly publishing. In 2010, for the third year running, PROSE received more entries than ever before in its 35-year history. But who are these publishers we honor? What kind of works do they produce? And how do they contribute to professional and scholarly advancement? PROSE honors university presses, commercial publishers, societies, museum presses, and the wide-ranging works they publish. The publishers we honor produce reference works that document national politics and international conflicts, collections of primary documents introducing 30 years of Chinese avant-garde art to the West, controversial memoirs for the first time in English, highly specialized neuroscience treatises, revealing studies of the giant squatter settlements of Rio de Janeiro, new perspectives on some of the world's most awe-inspiring species, journals that bring medieval and cultural studies to the web, and innovative mobile software applications that bring the latest in chemistry and engineering to the iPhone. These presses contribute to professional and scholarly advancement by publishing books by preeminent art historians, geochemists, journalists, economists, and doctors, and by innovating greener formats for printed journals as well as creating new formats for the presentation of scientific research and reviews on the internet. Not only do they contribute to scholarship, but they influence the larger world by publishing topical works that make policy recommendations, provide ideas for psychological treatment, offer new approaches to fighting cancer, address tactics for battling counterinsurgency, call for reform in educating doctors and nurses, and guide everyday citizens in making government work for them. While being honored by PROSE and endorsed by historians, professors, scholars, and Nobel laureates, these works are also being recognized by field experts and personalities beyond the professional and scholarly realm, such as Icelandic singer, songwriter, and actress Björk, Naomi Wolf, author of The Beauty Myth, Oscar-winning director Martin Scorsese, retired U.S. Army General Wesley K. Clark, and novelist Salman Rushdie. Not surprisingly, these works are also generating media buzz. They are being discussed by print leaders in thought, business, nature, and science. They're making waves in the blogosphere, in radio, and on mainstream national television. Clearly, we as publishers make a vital contribution to professional and scholarly development and have an impact on the world beyond our industry. The 2010 PROSE Awards are evidence that our industry is growing, innovating, and thriving. We are proud to present the vast number of exceptional titles that make this program truly live up to its name, the American Publishers Awards for Professional and Scholarly Excellence. If you've attended these awards in the last 2 years, you know that when I became chairman, I made it part of my work for us to regain the institutional memory of R.R. Hawkins. We had lost that. It's astonishing to believe, but in one generation, we could not really tell you anything about the life of what turns out to be a great man in our industry, and I wanted to change that. We dug deeply. First 2 years, we heard from members of his family here, but I wanted to do more, and I wanted to learn more about his professional life, and more than we could really be told by folks that frankly hadn't really known him except after he left the New York Public Library. So we decided to assign our filmmaker this year and her crew to dig up what they could, and we were very fortunate to have amassed what turned out to be a trove of information. We were aided by the fact that we were on the internet, on YouTube, and frankly, folks that saw that we were honoring R.R. Hawkins came forward, which is great. It's one of the benefits of the digital age. So we decided to convey his story in this film today, and it's a short film. At the conclusion of our work, we knew a couple of things. We knew a lot, actually, but two things that I will tell you here. There is no doubt that R.R. Hawkins deserved this honor that was bestowed upon him 35 years ago, not a question of a doubt. Second, there is no doubt that life can take some very interesting turns, and they did for R.R. Hawkins. Now, in this film you're about to see, you're going to see some familiar faces. I'm not going to tell you who they are, because you'll know them. But you're also going to meet some interesting people that you don't know, and I want to go through, it goes by fast. I want to go through them very quickly right now. Bob Hawkins, you're going to see, he's the oldest son of R.R. Hawkins. He was born in 1927. R.R. Hawkins did not know him, okay? But they took similar paths over the course of their respective lives, even though they were not in touch with each other. Remarkably similar paths as hobbyist inventors. So that was a fascinating glimpse that we got into R.R. Hawkins and his life. Bob Hawkins now lives in England. That's where we interviewed him. Jay Lucker, who is Bob Hawkins' age, he's the same age as R.R.'s oldest son, he looks to R.R. as his father figure, father that he never had. And he worked for R.R. at the New York Public Library. He was the person that replaced Hawkins when he retired in 1957. Jay Lucker took his place. So we're going to see Jay in this film. He now lives in Brooklyn, New York, although most of his life he spent as the head of libraries for MIT. Dolores Malaspina is a psychiatrist. After we started uncovering all this information about R.R. Hawkins, we went to her because she's one of the world's leading experts and an NIH researcher on nature versus nurture. Fascinating. You'll see her for a few minutes in this film.